Back in episode 101, I did a review on an old early 80s PSA video that I had remembered from childhood called The Ounce of Prevention. It was created by the Shriners Hospital and had a lot of the Looney Tunes characters, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, etc. And I loved watching that full film. It's only like 15 minutes, but the full film and sharing it with you and hoping that some of you that are of my age group went and checked it out on YouTube. Well, we're back with another similar PSA film. This one is called Snuffy's Fire Safety Brigade, and it came out in 1977. Those of you around my age that grew up in the 1980s might remember the PSAs for Snuffy the Talking Fire Engine, this little red fire engine that was telling these kids what to do in case of a fire. I even think that Snuffy, or at least a knockoff of Snuffy, came to my elementary school when I was in probably first grade, so 1984, because I remember this little red fire truck that either spoke or was just there with a face on it, spraying water around. It wasn't until recently that I even knew there was this Snuffy's Fire Brigade film. I had always thought it was just that one PSA from the late 1970s, but I should have known better because in that PSA, it mentions that the people that created Snuffy and that whole film was the Burger King Corporation, which I guess as a kid I never noticed, and as an adult it never really crossed my mind that there was likely more to it with Burger King and Snuffy. So I started doing my research, Snuffy the Talking Fire Engine and Burger King, and I found some toys that they must have had in their kids' meals back then. A plastic, cheap-looking Snuffy with a sticker face on it, which I'm sure is probably valuable today, but it doesn't look that great. I will post the link to the video for Snuffy's Fire Safety Brigade in the description of the podcast so you can watch for yourself, but I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit. It won't do justice to the time capsule to the late 1970s that this film is. So it starts off with the title and Snuffy parked in a grassy park. For those of you that can't picture Snuffy, it's a fire engine, but it looks like something from the 1930s with a big water tank on the back, and the headlights are two big googly eyes, and it's got these oversized red lips across the grill, and the bottom lip would just move up and down when Snuffy would talk. When this movie starts off, there's a group of people practicing for a parade. It looks like high school kids, like a high school band. And there are 4 kids sitting in these really cheap-looking wooden bleachers overlooking the parade. One of the little girls has an overalls dress, and one of the little boys has a very stereotypical 70s shirt on, with kind of a block color across the shoulders and little rings of color on the arms. It's one of those things that when you see the film, you will say, oh yeah, that's late 70s. It just speaks to you. The kids obviously want to be in the parade, and they go to grab these signs that say Hot Spot Spotters Unite, I guess so that if they see a fire, they can tell people. One thing you'll notice when you watch this video is that the high school band colors look very much like Burger King's colors, brown and mustard yellow, so it's like Burger King High School. And after one of the Burger King High School boys comes over and tells them they can't grab the signs, that's when Snuffy the Talking Fire Engine comes rolling around from the other side of the bleachers. I'm sure it's just the quality of the film that is on YouTube, but some of the sound really sounds like it's muffled and cracking. And the school band has got these cheesy trumpet music it's playing. If you've seen the Snuffy PSA, you'll know the music, at least from that. So anyway, the 4 kids are upset that they're not allowed to be in the parade, and Snuffy says he can help teach them about fire safety. But that's, of course, after the kids have to pretend that they don't know that this fire engine that just rolled up on them is speaking. Then you get to hear the first of the songs that are included in this film.
Oh, I'm a little fire truck. Fire safety is my game. I'm a friend to one and all, and Snuffy is my name.
So there you go. I don't want to play too much of it. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for copyright, but there's Snuffy singing his song as the kids are marching across the park. They end up in a little makeshift fire station. This is where they probably had the PSA bit shot where, 30 seconds of the fire truck rolling in and telling the kids about fire safety. The kids try on all the firefighter gear. And then Snuffy tells him that the hotspot spotters are all his TVs that he's got. And then Snuffy proceeds to tell all the kids that there's stuff in each of their houses that could be considered dangerous for fires. And one by one, he goes through each of the kids' houses. One of the little boys, his house, they show his house, and he's got this tiny little TV. But the thing is that there's so many plugs plugged into one outlet, so that's the problem. Another little boy, his dad has old paint rags and turpentine laying around the basement. They even show something similar to the Ounce of Prevention video with the cookies being close to the hot stove. That was in the Ounce of Prevention too. And then after seeing all of that, the kids break into another song, how they hate to live in a hot spot.
Well, what do you say now?
Oh, we hate to live in a hot spot. Would you want to live in a hot spot? Things that cause fire that are found everywhere. No one's aware that the fire hazard's there.
Yeah, that's the song there. It goes on for quite a while. It gets even funnier because the two little girls dance with each other like a slow dance to that song. I'd love to find out if these kids, if any of them did anything or got anything from doing this film. Because they're all basically 9, 10, 11 years old maybe. So if this came out in 1977, they'd all be in their mid-50s, around 60 by now. I couldn't find any of their names. It does have a lot of good stuff for kids to learn, dangers of matches and things. And there's yet another song when they talk about what do you do if you see a fire. Now remember, this film is only 14 minutes long, and there's already 3 songs in it. This is where they teach them about stop, drop, and roll, which is in the Snuffy PSA that you would see all the time on TV. I remember that, especially on WLVI TV 56 in the mornings. And it talks about what to do if your house is on fire and how to all meet up out in front of the house. There's even this disturbing bit of the video where there's this dragon stuffed animal on fire, and it's running around just on fire because it won't stop, drop, and roll. I'm sure that scarred some kids that saw this. And once the dragon finally stop, drop, and rolls, then it has to sing a song with sunglasses on. That's the 5th song in this video. And all the kids are dancing in a very cheesy, exaggerated 70s way. This is where you can tell that the disco era was going on. Some of the lighting and camera cuts. Like I said, this whole video is very much a snapshot of 1977. And naturally, in the end, the kids pass basic fire safety training according to Snuffy, so they can now go be in the parade. And the 4 kids are marching down the street with Snuffy singing that same I'm a Little Fire Truck song that I played the clip of from before. And there's dozens and dozens of extras, little kids marching with signs, the Burger King colored high school band. It's so much fun to watch. It's only a little over 14 minutes long. But if you're into nostalgia, and you all know obviously I am, it's a fun way to just go back in time 45 years or so. It still blew my mind after all these years to figure out that Burger King was the one that created Snuffy and this film and that PSA that I always watched. And then it all comes full circle right near the end as Snuffy's driving towards the camera and he's got a fire hat on with a big Burger King logo on it. And it just ends with it saying it's a production of Burger King Corporations for a public service announcement. There's no listing of the cast, who the 4 kids are. But like I said, those of you that are around my age, you'll definitely have a trip back in time watching this. People that are younger, you can laugh at the cheesiness of this whole thing because it is very cheesy. Like I said, there's 6 songs in just over 14 minutes. And the kids aren't trained singers or actors, and whoever does Snuffy's voice is definitely not a trained singer, but that's part of its charm. So do any of you out there remember Snuffy the Talking Fire Engine from the late 70s, early 80s? Did Snuffy or some cheesy knockoff come to your school around that time? 'Cause I'm pretty sure it came to mine. And I'll keep on the lookout for any more 70s and 80s PSA longer films, not the shorter ones, because I'll review those. I've done some in the past, but I want to find more films like this Snuffy's Fire Brigade and Ounce of Prevention and things like that. So if any of you know any other ones I should review, send them my way.